we've talked about London, we've talked about the UK, we've put that in a European context. You mentioned Krakow very briefly. I think it's time that we broadened our canvas a bit more. So we have Sarah Collins here, who is a South African social and environmental campaigner, I think it would be fair to say, and inventor of the Wonderbag. Wave the Wonderbag, please. Which is a brilliantly simple way of reducing dangerous fuel burning in homes from cooking, so the indoor pollution that I talked about. It saves money for people. It reduces pollution, and of course, most important, it has huge potential to save lives, and you're going to hear a lot more about that. The Wonderbag is getting famous, and it's going to get much, much more famous. If you haven't heard of it, well, you're about to now, but you will hear more about it in the media. I first came across it about a year ago when I was interviewing the boss of Unilever, which is, you know, the world's largest supplier of stuff onto supermarket shelves. Very keen to publicize and to get its products out there. But it is linking up with the Wonderbag. Paul Polman, the CEO of Unilever, is a huge fan. Halfway through an interview with him, we were talking about environmental things, but much more generally, he suddenly said, "Do you know about the Wonderbag? You must know about the Wonderbag." He's adopted it. He takes it to Davos. He takes it around the world. He promotes it. Of course, he has his own corporate reasons for doing it, but he has a very good story to tell about the Wonderbag. And I think in his absence, or thank goodness perhaps in his absence, we're going to hear from the horse's mouth. Sarah's going to tell us about the Wonderbag.
Good evening. Thank you very much to all three of you, and it's fascinating to hear about air pollution in different parts of the world, and also to hear about the struggles with government, because one of the things that you said, James, was as soon as is possible is an answer you get from government. I'm not very good with those kind of as soon as is possible. Patience wasn't part of my vocabulary. So I've gone about things in a slightly different way. But before I tell you a little bit more about my story, I'm going to play something just to give you an idea about the Wonderbag and just take you home for a moment to my home. Africa. It is a hard and unforgiving continent. It is a place where life is a daily struggle. Feeding, teaching, and caring for your family. The women of Africa are strong, resilient, and proud, just like you and I. So when you go through your day, give a thought to what your sister in Africa goes through in hers. The difference you can make in her day is life-changing. You just need to buy a Wonderbag, and you will be donating a bag to a family in Africa, just like this one. This simple, revolutionary, non-electric portable slow cooker works by retaining heat for up to 8 hours. It lowers the disease and death rate associated with smoke inhalation and skin burns by reducing wood fire cooking on an open flame to less than an hour a day. This bag will give mothers more time to be entrepreneurial, empowering them through income-earning opportunities. It reduces the daily collection of firewood to a weekly chore, thereby minimizing deforestation and carbon emissions. And more importantly, it gets girls back into school. I'm Sarah Collins, the founder of Wonderbag. You can make a difference to a family in Africa. Buy one, donate one. One family, one community, one village at a time. Wonderbag, a recipe for change. I'm going to talk about home, and I'm going to talk about the realities in Africa and Asia. I'm just going to give you the facts once more, which have already been mentioned by Fred, that 3 billion, not million, billion, people globally cook on fires every day. More than 4 million people die of indoor air pollution-related diseases, lung-related diseases, more than any other HIV, AIDS, malaria, and Ebola combined. 82% of rapes in Africa occur while young girls are collecting firewood. That's the reality. And that's why I, as an entrepreneur who grew up in South Africa and who has spent a lot of my time looking for solutions to problems that have plagued Africa, and particularly women. And one of the things that has stood out for me growing up on a farm in Africa is whenever we went to eat with our friends in their mukukwans, which is their huts, it was always smoky, their eyes were weeping. Mtutu is a very, very, I think, it's a word that means so much. Mtutu means ash, it means fire. That's what we're talking about. It's the reality of the grandmothers and the children that are over those fires every single day. Are we going to wait for governments to tell us as soon as is possible? We can't. We need to find solutions, and we need to find them really, really quickly, because it's the economic empowerment of women that's going to change the reality that we face in the developing world. Which brings me to the conversation of clean cooking. How do we get the people of Africa and Asia off fires? People have been aware of these statistics for many years. I think you'll agree with me on the panel that 15, 20 years ago, the Clean Cook Stove Alliance was formed to address these issues. Sadly, the developing world is littered with failed cook stove solutions, attempted solutions. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. People are trying to find solutions, but the reality is that we cannot force behavior change with foreign interventions. And this is what, as an African growing up, I realized that I'd looked at cook stoves, I'd looked at how do we reduce the reliance on charcoal, a huge, huge black market industry that is deforesting Africa at the most terrifying rates. And what I did is a very, very simple old cooking technology. I think most of you will remember the hay box. It was called a hay box in the Second World War. It is a simple heat retention bag. And all it really is a jacket for a pot. You bring your food to the boil, you put your pot inside, and it continues to cook for 8 to 12 hours. Why is it working? Why is it not like all the other cook stoves that haven't worked and that are lying littered around the countryside? It works because it's intuitive, it is instinctive, and it's simple. It's a simple 21st century solution. So it's an age-old technology brought into the 21st century, and it's working. We have over 700,000 Wonderbags in use in Africa, the Middle East, in refugee camps, and other parts of the world. But you may say to me, well, that's fantastic, Sarah, that's 700,000 bags. We have 3 billion bags to do. How are we going to get there? You're just an entrepreneur from Africa. And, this needs, what's the stumbling block? And that's where what I have realized is that we can't wait for governments, we can't wait for the United Nations, we can't wait for humanitarian NGOs. We have to encourage big business. The solutions are found in big business. Big business is the solution for development. So that's easier said than done too. Unilever, for example, has the most ambitious Unilever Sustainable Living Plans, which is 1 billion better lives, double their income, maintain their carbon footprint by 2020, green there are loads and loads of examples in all different corporates of searching for solutions that give them the triple bottom line, which is being measured in environmental, social, and economic. But the reality of today is that we are still in a very capitalist mindset, and I believe that is the future. We need to make financial sense, not just to the big corporates, but to the individuals, to the grandmother who gets the bag, right across the supply chain. And it's all very well me standing here talking about it. That's also not good enough. I have to, with my teams, put together packages that work. Take the solutions to the corporates. I need to take the solutions to the consumer. So in the US, we launched a buy one, subsidize one model. In the UK, we've launched the same thing, where an individual can become part of the solution. So individual philanthropy is going to drive development, as are the consumers of the big corporates that we partner with. So just to use Unilever again, Paul Pullman, the chairman of Unilever, has said on more than one occasion, I put up with Sarah. I adore the Wonderbag, and the reason I put up with Sarah is because she drives my bottom line. That's what we have to do. If we are only feel good, it's a once-off project. And so for me, the future of development, the future of indoor air pollution, the future of solving one of the biggest, if not the biggest challenge to the developing world and the reliance on charcoal and firewood, is to work in partnerships with individual philanthropy, big business, and people like you sitting here tonight who are interested in and making conscious decisions for a better world for all. Thank you.
Sarah, where do I buy one?
Thank you for asking that question. You can buy it online on our website, which is www.nbnellybravo-wonderbag.com. But if you Google
Say that again.
You can actually just go to Wonderbag. If you Google Wonderbag,
Right.
you will go to our website and you'll be able to buy one in the UK.
How much are they?
You know, it's so embarrassing, but I know what they cost in America. They cost $57 for two. So, Jack, I think they... So we have different designs and different models that you will see online.
Can you buy them in retailers anywhere in the UK? Is that?
We have very small bricks and mortar, a few kitchen shops. We haven't gone into large retail in the first world or whatever in the Western world yet, because what we are looking for, I believe, is that online we need to educate people in the first world, because they say, I get it for the developing world, but how am I going to benefit? Well, this is a non-electric slow cooker. People don't want to leave a slow cooker plugged in. People also want to prepare healthy meals for their families, but they don't have the time. So you put it all in the morning and come home in the evening. And so there's a level of telling the story, and we can do that very successfully online. And that's why, the business model of buying one and donating one works a lot better online than it does in retail at this point.
So what is Paul Pullman doing for you exactly? And do you trust him? That's my other question.
Well, luckily he's not here, so I can say. I think Paul Pullman has lit up the imagination of the world and of CEOs across the world to show what can be done. Paul is also not afraid to admit to the challenges that his goals that he's put, what the challenges are and where he needs help. And I think the biggest thing that Paul has done is he recognizes that a company like Unilever, which is so huge, needs to partner with entrepreneurs like myself to get the traction that they need in the place that they need in the time span that they need. So Paul does, I do trust him. We've had some wonderful success in Africa with Unilever. We launched in the United States with Unilever. We are making a big announcement at Davos with Unilever. So a journalist, we'd love you to cover it, including other corporates that we're bringing on board where we also have commercial solutions for them in different sectors. So I think that trust is a big word, but he has to trust me, I have to trust him that we all deliver on what we say we're going to do.
But what does he actually do for you? Does he sell this? Does he give you publicity, or what exactly does he give you?
He gives us distribution, access to markets, and we give him the hook. So for example, I'm going to use a real example. In South Africa, we bundled the Wonderbag with Unilever products. We sold it for X amount of dollars or pounds, and in store, so a consumer came and bought it. We increased their rate of sale and their ROI by over 200%. So we got massive distribution, we got endorsement, people know who Unilever are, they then trusted the Wonderbag, so they got brand loyalty, and we got the Wonderbag out to the consumers. So they give us a number of things. They give us a platform on which to play and bring other corporates. They introduced you to the Wonderbag, they are. And they play in the space, and they care about the consumer who is our consumer, which is their billion better lives. But obviously, we're working hard to make sure that the partnership works for both them and the consumer and us.
You need to be as savvy as him.
Thank you.